Hey, good afternoon. Thanks so much for being here. It's April 9th, Saturday. And really great to have you here. Kind of windy and blustery outside today, so we'll be inside. I'm going to finish up the discussion we started yesterday on singleness and why single folks are here. As we talked about, sometimes it's the choice of the person that is being single. Sometimes God's made a particular calling on a person, as we read in Matthew 19, 1 Corinthians 7. And sometimes, though, folks are single not because they wanted to be, but because if either the providence of God made it happen because of a death or something tragic like that, or because of a broken marriage. And I'm talking particularly today to single moms, where you're in this position not because you wanted to be, but for many of you, it's because you needed to be to obey God. Again, I'm not talking about a wanton lifestyle, but I'm talking about women who have been abandoned by their husbands to pursue their own lusts and desires and not do the right things. Not that women are always perfect, but I'm talking particularly today to those moms, single women who are now once married and now they're single, not by their own choice. And life for them can be really, really hard. I believe as a church, we have failed you as a group, as particular people. We've somehow made you a separate category, and we don't enter into the pain. We don't enter into the difficulties that have been placed. And because of our culture worships singleness, we just sort of think, okay, well, you're just single now, you just have to deal with it. But that loses the beauty and perspective of what God's called us to be. And single moms in particular, we need to encourage them, not to take over their lives, but to support their lives, to help them with their children, not to be parents for them. They already have a parent, or in some cases two, if the dad's still around in some way. But we need to support. We need to give just care and concern so that they're not floating on an island out there, so they don't feel isolated because they're somehow not acceptable because they don't have a husband anymore. Rather, they need to be supported by our families and cared for. Churches need to be looking for ways. You need to be looking for ways to be supportive of single moms. And single moms in particular, you don't want to lose sight of the fact that you're not damaged goods. Ephesians 2 still applies to you. You are God's workmanship. That is, you're God's poem. Poema, as the Greek says. You're a work in progress. Still created in Christ to do good things that he has for you to do, that he actually prepared in advance for you to do. Your singleness has not caught God by surprise. He has ways for you to honor him, even in this very difficult time. So instead of turning to ways that are dishonoring to God or seem to be self-serving at the moment, want to be trusting God that he'll provide a way forward to you. Because as you pursue genuine faithfulness before God, that protects you both from the trials and lusts and temptations of the moment. It also prepares you to recognize who might be a potential good husband in the future, if that's in case what God has for you. But in any event, you want to be leading your children in such a way so that they see God as honored. Some of you are single moms because death has occurred. And again, you've got to fight this battle alone. Many widows are virtual widows because their husbands have abandoned them, basically leaving them. And we need to step up to the plate and support you. And what I'm encouraging this afternoon is for you to see that God has not abandoned you. He's placed you in a difficult place, but He's also placed you in a place where He's going to provide for you. I think Psalm 23 is a special, beautiful message for single moms. God is with you in the dark valley. He is your shepherd. He will give you what you need. In those longing nights, those difficult times, God is there being a shepherd and faithful to you. Reach out to Him as you are. And I pray that our church communities, the folks who know God, will be concerned to walk after God and care for those who've been thrown aside by men who have not done what God wanted them to do, or who, in God's providence, may have been a very good husband whom God chose to take in His own time. You're still God's workmanship, God's poem. He's at work in you, ladies. I pray that you will be able to hang on to this. I pray that we as a church would have compassion, not to take over your parenting, but to support you, not to take over your living, but to let you know that you're special and valuable and rare, and that you have gifts to give. It's a tremendous resource for us to be able to pursue those things. We would support you. So God has a word for you too. You're His workmanship. I pray that He would encourage in you and strengthen you. He wasn't on coffee break. He will be there for you. As I've mentioned earlier, He can replace the years that the locusts have eaten in your life. I pray that He will do that. That pretty much covers the purpose of so much of what we're talked about. Next week, at some point, we'll talk about the purpose of sex, because that's important in this discussion. But these videos have been about finding purpose, finding our eternal purpose. No matter what stage of life you're in, God has a purpose for you. I pray these videos have helped you in that way. Thanks so much for being here, and Lord willing, we'll see you on Monday morning. Check us out, everydaytalk247.com. Opportunity to find the tremendous reading list there, resources, ability to support what's happening here. If you haven't subscribed, turn on post notifications. Videos will come right to you. As always, thanks so much for being here, and Lord willing, we'll see you on Monday morning. You have a great evening. Bye-bye.